We're in Tel Aviv, Israel, at Jem's Beer Factory. This is a story about an American that came back to Israel to pursue his dream to create beautiful craft beer here in Tel Aviv. He's trying to turn on Israelis to something a little more hoppy, a little more beautiful, and it's all about community and bringing people together and drinking good beer. Check it out.
I was born in 1965 in Boston. My father was finishing up at MIT and Harvard, and when I was born, my parents called me Jeremy. My sister couldn't say Jeremy, so she called me Jem. She was about 14 months old, so that's where the name comes from.
Okay.
All my friends and family call me Jem, and it's funny because here in Israel they call me Gems. Yeah, I'm now Gems.
Yeah.
Came to Israel for the first time in 1983. And actually I lasted about a month and a half till they threw me out of the country. I grew up in a very liberal family, and so when I was 13 I was already doing, I smoked marijuana with my parents. By the time I was 16 I already tried LSD with my parents. So I grew up with zero rules. So when I came to Israel for the first time I brought a pharmacy with me. I thought this is just the way things worked. And after about a month and a half they threw me out of the country. I didn't see Jerusalem, didn't see Tel Aviv, I didn't see anything. So I get back to the United States and I tell my father, Dad, you got to send me back, man. I was like, I didn't see anything. He's like, you're going to university, young man. It's like, Dad, how much money do you want to throw away? You really want to send me to university, Dad? So he says, okay, you want to go back to Israel? You have to go to yeshiva. Yeshiva is a rabbinic seminary. So I was like, cool, dude. So I ended up in Jerusalem at this rabbinic seminary, and I'm studying. Yeshiva means to sit. Lashevet means to sit. And so you're supposed to sit and study. I got into my first bar fight that year in Jerusalem. It's now 1984, I'm 19 years old, and I joined the Army, spent 3 years in the Army, infantry, and while I was there I realized that I wanted to be in the service industry, in the food and beverage, hospitality field.
And this is your baby. This is like a lifelong journey for you to create this brewery.
That's for sure. We've been now brewing 10 years. I started in America. My first brew was in actually Sisson's in Baltimore, an amazing brew pub.
Yeah. And
I had a blueberry ale, and I took a sip of that beer, and I fell off my chair. I was going to say orgasm, but I don't know how.
We'll edit that out in post,
yeah.
Out.
Woo! Welcome to Jam! Every time, little love. So water makes up about 95% of our product. We have a water softener, we have a charcoal filter, sedimentation filter, and reverse osmosis. Okay, we basically break this water down to zero, H2O, clean. And then we build that water back up using, relax America, it's not cocaine, calcium sulfate, COSO4, the best, pharmaceutical grade. Okay, we have England's specifications, Germany's specifications, we have everyone's specs. We try to get our water as close to what we can to that country as possible. Here in Israel, it's very interesting. In most places in the world, you open your tap and you get the same water all the time. Here in Israel, we're drinking a lot of water from the Mediterranean. More than half of our water is actually desalination water. So we get water from the Mediterranean, we get water from Lake Kinneret, we get water from our aquifers, and the water system is constantly sending us water that's changing all the time. So because of that, we start with zero and we build it back up to get to what we're looking for.
Beer is kosher, the kitchen is kosher,
everything's kosher,
but everybody's welcome.
Everybody's welcome, of course. It's family, We're just it's one big family, and I think I touched a nerve in the country. The country wasn't quite ready for me. They weren't ready for this dialogue that I want to have with them. I want to have this dialogue that just, it's just the group hug. The group hug, and it's like I start in the brewery.
I like this. I like this.
You guys keep a secret. Every time we touch it, we bless it with brotherhood and friendship and love and harmony and money, health, and peace. My daughter, she's 13, she likes to call me a legal drug dealer. But really, this is medicine. This is medicine for my nation, 5% alcohol.
So what are we drinking?
Right now we're drinking the IPA, Israel's Perfect Ale, a little national pride, Indian Pale Ale, but we call it Israel's Perfect Ale. Nice hops on it. We use a Citra Cascade, a little bit of Nelson in here as well. Not quite as bitter as the American IPAs.
Yeah, the style of beer that Israelis prefer is lower alcohol, more balanced.
I don't know, lower alcohol. I think a minimum 5%. Heineken just came in with a 0.0 with a 0% beer. I don't think it's going to work. It's not the first time. It's funny because no one's going to pay for a beer and not get the alcohol. Not
Right.
here in Israel. It's a Jewish thing. We're not going to pay for a beer and not get any alcohol. What are we doing? What's the point? You know what I mean? My job has been to try to teach Israelis how to order that third beer.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my biggest challenge. How do I get them to? Thank you, ladies. Thank you. They were drinking Fidge, vodka. Good girls. Afternoon. Little bit of fun in the Holy Land. It probably started in America. There's no tradition here. We have no tradition. We can do whatever we want. We're the cowboy brewers here. We can do, not that we take a lot of shortcuts. We have no hang-ups on, it doesn't have to be the exact German process, and it gives us a lot more flexibility to do fun things. Fruit beers and spices. We use cinnamon in some of our beers just to keep it interesting.
So tell me about this baby.
Okay, this was our last special we did. We did it for Hanukkah. It's an 8-day holiday here in Israel. It coincides with Christmas time and crazy days and crazy nights. And this is a wheat beer that we hopped it out. And it's just this really fun combination of sort of like an IPA and a wheat beer.
Yeah.
Color's perfect, a little cloudy, really, got a great nose, citrus nose on it, a little bit of guava even on it. For the last holiday, we had Sukkot. I only do specials if it's like a long holiday. I'll do a holiday special. Sukkot 7 days, Hanukkah 7 days. Pesach sucks because you can't drink beer on Pesach. And it's okay.
Can't make a beer for that.
Yeah, you can't make a beer for Passover, but that's okay. The next special is a Black Beauty. We're going to do a black IPA, and she's amazing. We've been going now 10 years, and we make the freshest beer in the country. No question. Our beer moves so fast that it is a blessing. It's a blessing. A blessing to a nation.
I love the words you use, a blessing and a sense of purpose and mission and community, and it seems like that's a big part of what beer is to you.
I think historically speaking, why would anyone want to stop gathering and hunting and go into farming? Why would anyone want to be a farmer? It's got to be the hardest job in the world. Got to be the hardest job. And I think the reason is this amazing gift. For fermented beverages and the buzz that they were able to, it really gives meaning, to life, to be able to sit with your boys, sit with your friends, sit with your spouse, sit with whoever you're hanging out with, and share the love and be able to relax. We're so connected these days to screens, and we have not a moment to ourselves anymore that we're not attached to something else. And if you notice in our place, we have no screens, we have no videos, we have nothing going on. It's all four eyes, 4 eyes together and this communication, a little bit of love, touch our people a little bit of contact, a little bit of love, ladies, a little bit of love. So I think Israelis come because they need to be fed. They come for the food aspect of the beer, actually. 70% of our revenue is because of the restaurant, and my manager, Dror, who takes care of the restaurant concept, does a great job.
And you fed us. We had Grandma's chopped liver recipe.
Exactly.
It's the best I've had.
Okay, good. Fresh sausages. We grind them out every day. Fresh food, fresh fun, fresh people, and a little bit of a hug. A little bit of kiss and tickle.
Yeah.
A little bit of kiss and tickle in our lives goes a long way. But the Israelis, they get the beer. They're starting to get it. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
They need it. Everybody needs, one drink a day, 2 drinks a day. It's so nice to relax and spend your time wisely.
It's kind of like there's an entrepreneurial thing here, because coming to Israel to start a craft brewery sounds a little bit crazy to me. And probably when your neighbors tried your first beer, they're like, this is a little bit crazy, but you have a passion. You want someone to appreciate the thing that you fell in love with.
Yeah. Well, I really fell in love with the people. I just was trying to give them what they needed, even if they didn't quite know they needed it yet. What's interesting about Israeli society is incredibly well traveled. Israelis after the army, they run away from the country, they travel all over the world. More masters and PhDs per capita than most other countries. And the microbrewery industry speaks to that higher education. They're interested in putting something interesting into their body. They want a story. People want a story doesn't matter if it's the wine or the beer or the food or locally grown and locally sourced. They want a story, and it has to sort of fill not just the alcohol need, but their spiritual sort of make them feel that they're doing it right, that there's some soul involved, and not just alcohol. It's not just about Israelis don't get drunk they don't drink to get drunk. They drink to have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still learning that trick. But as I get older, I'm getting better at it. A few more rules as I get older. A few more rules. Forever 16.
Look, I am. Am I saying that right?
Nailed it.